Interview with Ebrunil today. So thank you so much, Ebrunil, spending some time with us today. It's not gonna take too much time. This is gonna be your first interview, I know.
Yes.
But in our company, while we are hiring the Salesforce developers, we have a process like it is gonna be a first technical interview with me. Then you are gonna get a technical interview with our three developer. So it's
Okay.
gonna be like more detailed interview. That's why I just wanted to start with the company, and I already explained you our company's culture. And since you already talked with your recruiter, and you guys are agree about the numbers, so whenever you feel ready, we can start.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, no worries.
From now, yeah.
So I would like to learn about your experience. Like, according to your experience, like, what do you think? What is your comfortable zone? Is it Salesforce admin side or the Salesforce developer portion or pieces?
I can say that I am more comfortable for admin part, but I also like the coding world. I can say that for developer parts.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah.
So I would like to start from like the beginning. So can you tell me, like, how can we create a tab in Salesforce?
We can create tab. How can I say? Sorry, let me remember.
Okay.
We need to go set up, and then we need to go app manager, I think. We can create our new app, and we can search for tabs to create new tab.
So we are creating the tabs while we are creating the apps or something else?
We can create our tabs while we are creating our objects, or we can create a particular tab later when we search tabs in setup. We can do both ways.
All right. So in the first explanation, I thought you need to like create the app while you are trying to create that tab. That's why. But when you search from the setup as a tabs, then
yeah.
Okay, I got it. So why do we use the tabs?
Tabs are for access Salesforce objects data. I can explain like that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I would like to know something like specific if we are using a professional edition of Salesforce.
Yeah.
Like how many custom fields I can create on a specific object?
For professional edition, we can create 100 custom fields per object.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
And we have some data types while we are creating any custom field, right?
Yeah.
So can you count me like 4 or 5 of them?
Yeah, as me remember, I can count checkbox, number, and date and time. These are all custom field types.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. And also, like, for example, we are creating a field which we need to put some postal code inside.
Postal code. Okay.
And I just want to be sure, because some of the countries, they are using letters and numbers together. For example, Canada. But since we are in US, and I just want to make sure nobody can put any alphabetical letters inside it. How can I do that?
Can you repeat one more time the question?
I would like to create a field. Say I
Yeah.
already created a field name of postal code, but I just want to make sure it is just including the numbers,
Okay.
and that numbers should be limited.
Okay.
How can you do that?
Maybe I can say that I can use a validation rule.
Okay. Like, what should you put inside that validation rule?
I think I can put some formula and I can make these criteria for my particular field, for not to put numbers or letters as I want, as my project want.
Okay, I got it. And I would like to create a report.
Yeah.
But when I checked the standard reports, I couldn't find which is gonna fit my report. So, like, what can I do, or what should I do? Because I would like to customize it according to my requirement.
Okay, if you want to customize about reports or something about reports, we can use custom reports.
So how we can do that?
Custom reports, the user can create the custom reports, and we can I can say, if I am the user for that custom report, I can delete and I can edit, and I can store also that report to personal folder. It is easier way to customize.
Yes, since we have time, and can you please share your screen and show us like how we can do that?
Sure. Let me find. Okay. Share screen. I already opened my Salesforce.
Yeah, currently I can see. Okay, now I can.
Now you can see, right? Okay.
Okay, I can see some questions here
Where?
on the screen.
Which screen? I don't think so.
I can see like interview preparation questions over there.
Let me see. Actually, I was
I am not thinking about the cheating or something, but
Yeah, it was open all day on my computer because
okay.
last 2 days, yeah, I was trying to let me open my second screen. Yeah. The question was about the
Yeah. For example, if I ask you to create a report, what
Yeah.
you're doing, you're just clicking on the reports tab and
Yeah.
say new report, and you are picking from there, right?
Yeah.
But what I mentioned is that my report type is not over there. It's not a standard report type. I
Okay.
want a custom report type.
Okay. And what was the rest of the question? I'm sorry.
So I would like to customize a report type for my requirement, and I would like to create a custom report type by myself.
Okay. Let me open. No. I want to search for custom. I'm sorry. I think I need to pass this question.
Okay. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah.
I would like to know some details about the relationship.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what is the self relationship?
Yeah, I can say self relationship is we are creating this kind of relationship in same object via lookup relationship. I can explain like this.
Okay. And
I think in my previous project, we created this kind of relationship in case object, as I remember. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I would like to ask you one more question about the relationship.
Sure.
Say we are trying to create a many-to-many relationship.
Yes.
How can we do that?
For many-to-many relationship, we need junction object. And we need two master detail relationship objects.
So
I
if you say you have object A and object B, and
Yes.
I want you to create a many-to-many relationship in between these objects.
Yeah, we need a third object, like join objects. I can say an example from my previous projects. We created a position object as a master object, and also employment website. I remember. And then there was a third object. It was job posting as a child object.
So which one is gonna be the junction object?
Job posting.
Okay.
Yes.
So if we continue from your example, we have a junction object which is job posting, and you have two parent object, which is one of them is position, the other one is employment website.
Yes.
If I ask you to create a roll-up summary field.
Yes.
Yeah. How can you do that?
Roll-up summary field. Let me think a little bit.
Okay.
We can create rollup summary field in this scenario.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember for rollup summary field. The data it derives from parent or child. I was trying to remember, and now I remember. I need to create this rollup summary field on the child object, I think. Yeah.
Okay. So you are creating the rollup summary field on the child object?
Junction object. I can say like that. Okay. I'm not sure. Yeah.
And while you are creating this rollup summary field, if I ask you to give me the total number of the positions?
We are creating rollup summary to calculate the numbers in that field. Yeah, in that record. To counting, summarizing, and mean max values to understand this information.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I have a question about the data security stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would like to restrict some login hours for our company. Since you worked as a Salesforce admin, I'm sure like maybe your previous company was asking to do that also. So where can I go? How to do that?
For doing any kind of edit or something.
Since you are sharing the screen, maybe you can show us. Like,
yeah, I can. I need to go to, let me set up, and I need to search for, I think, profiles. And I think I need to choose any profile from here. I want to choose system administrator. Let me find it here. I need to find login hours from here under the system. And let me click here. Yeah, I can set up any kind of criteria from this page for my company login hours. Yeah.
Sounds good. I would like to know about like the OWD.
Yeah, organization-wide defaults. Yeah.
What is that?
It is. I can explain like this: baseline level of access to data, data records for all users in any organization. It is the most, if I remember our triangle about the data security, OWD is at the bottom of this triangle for data security.
Okay.
We are restricting access to data.
what kind of access we can give on the OWD? What level of access?
We can use OWD for standard objects and custom objects, accessing standard objects data and custom objects data.
Okay.
Is it correct? Expected answer for you or not? I'm not sure.
So I have another question.
Yes.
Say you have a OWD as a private, but you need to
Yes.
give the same access, whatever I have, to my teammate, because, like, think about like this. I'm a manager, and I'm going to the vacation. I'm not gonna be here next 15 days. And while I'm on the vacation, nobody wants me to log into the system.
Okay.
How they can provide that? And also, since I'm not gonna be able to log in to the org, I want the sales is keep going on. So how can you do that? So
I
there's
think,
two questions here.
yeah. If I understand correctly, I can answer this question. We can use, I think, viewable and modifiable to giving access to users if the manager is on vacation, because they are gonna have same permissions with their manager if they have viewable and modifiable accessing.
So if this is the answer for the second question, what is the first answer?
Can you repeat?
While
one more time?
While I am out of office,
yeah,
because I am on the vacation, and our system or company policy says that I should not be able to log into my org.
Okay. I'm sorry. I think, let me think about it a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
If I think the manager as a user, I think we can use the freezing user option for to solve this problem as a solution.
Okay, when you freeze the user,
yeah,
is there any chance you can use their license to someone else?
I don't think so, but I'm not sure.
All right.
Yeah.
And also, I would like to ask you about, you mentioned that view all and modify all, right?
Yes.
Why do we use these two?
This is viewable and modifiable. These two options is typically for system administrators. And how can I explain? If we need to highly controlled how can I say? Let me think a little bit. Weevil and Modifier gives us overriding system and responsibilities that are usually reserved for the admin.
So what are we overriding?
We are overriding data. I can say that.
Okay.
Okay.
And since we have 5 more minutes, I'm just checking that. What is CRUD permission?
CRUD permissions, giving access, read, write, create, and also edit for an object.
Okay, so where we can do this adjustment?
We can do this adjustment when we do sharing any kind of changing in sharing settings in object level security.
Sharing settings in object level security.
Sorry.
Okay.
Can I can show you maybe if you want.
Yeah, sure. Please.
Maybe I am confusing about the terms, but let me show you. I need to open any. Oh my. I think let's see.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I have a couple more questions, then we can
okay.
end this interview.
Okay.
I would like to know about like delegated administration. What is it? Why we are using this delegated administration?
Delegated admin. Oh, it's very familiar to me, but I'm not sure. Can I remember detail or not right now?
Okay, no worries.
Yeah, sorry.
If I ask you, like, what is the Apex transactions?
Oh, what is the Apex transactions? Yeah. Yeah, actually, I'm not able to explain right now it.
You can give me an example.
I'm sorry, I need to pass.
Okay. And lastly, can you tell me like what kind of flows did you work on?
We worked record triggered flows and also screen flows. Yeah, I can count two.
Okay.
These two, yeah.
These two. All right.
Yeah.
So, lastly, if we are talking about these two flows, like which one doesn't require any user input?
Screen flow, we need user input for screen flow. I'm sure for this, but I think for record trigger flow, we don't need user input.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this was the first interview. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
After this interview, we are gonna discuss with the teammates, and they are gonna watch the recording. After then, we are gonna let you know the process, what's gonna happen.
Sure.
It can take up to like 5 to 7 days. So
Okay.
just spare. And
I will.
do you have any question for us?
No, thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for this opportunity. It was first interview in my entire life, I can say that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's discuss about it.
Okay.
Let me ask others, like, how was it? Aslı, Tunç, Ebru. You can stop sharing.
Okay.
In my opinion, she answered most questions, and it was good. In my opinion, just I think when she says like I think I am as I believe so, kind of. So these words make her like she doesn't believe herself. She's just assuming or like she's not experienced about it. So I think she knows, but when she adds I think, then it makes it like a little bit.
And each and every time,
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. This kind of stuff.
Yeah, this makes her. Actually, she knows, but
yeah.
she's not trusting herself probably. So,
That's
but
good.
it was good overall, I think.
Oh, no.
I have the same feedback. I think Ebru Nil, when she is very confident about her answer, that self-esteem shows through. But if she is like doubting herself, even for no reason, then she loses her confidence, and that reflects to the whole speech. Even though she knows the subject, she kind of self-doubts about her knowledge. So that makes it a little bit like not professional. Yes. But overall, the knowledge level, I believe it was good. Her voice was calm. She wasn't sounding like anxious or nervous. Just a little bit of a self-confidence issue, maybe.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing your thought. And Tunç?
I think it was good. For fairly, the first interview, I agree with the other friends.
Okay. So since we get all the opinions, let me start. Overall, I can say it was 50-50. Yeah, I'm trying to be honest. And when I see that question screen, you failed first.
Yeah, I know.
Because like while you are sharing the screen, every day we are doing the screen share, right?
Yes.
You should get used to it and which screen you are sharing.
Yeah. But I was super excited. Maybe to be. Actually, the screen was open for if I get a chance to read the long answer.
It is okay. It should be open for the good reason. But as an interview, it is a cheat.
I know, yes.
Yeah. So
My bad.
This is not about the Salesforce something. This is about like the basic computer skills, I can say. We should need to improve this kind of stuff. That's why, like, since we have everyday like live lessons and we are sharing and we are just stopping the screen, muting,
Yes.
muting, that kind of stuff. This is gonna happen while you are working also. So you might gonna open something which client doesn't need to see that. That kind of stuff, just be careful. I'm just giving it as an advice.
Of course, yes.
After then, we started with the tab. You said you are like, you are gonna go to the setup, go to the app builder, create an app, then tab.
A little bit.
It was a little bit confusion over there. Then you corrected. You said
Myself.
while you are creating the object, you can create a tab, or you can do it later on. It was okay. The biggest confusion, I think, it was about the, like, you determine the junction object for the many-to-many relationship. It was good. When I asked you where you supposed to create the roll-up summary field, where do we need to create it?
I think in parent object.
Yes. What did you say?
I said on child object.
Child object.
Yeah, I was super confusing. Maybe for every answer, so not some of them. But
even if you are not sure, don't tell them. Don't tell them I'm not sure, because you are giving an answer, then you are saying I'm not sure. Then you are starting with I think. It is okay. We all use I think, but if you keep using the same thing again and again, they are gonna think like, she gave me like most of the answers, but she's not sure. That's why I'm not sure if she's gonna fit in our company. So
of course,
no need to use that.
Yes.
Beside that roll-up summary field, I ask you about the OWD. You explain me like what is the OWD, and when I ask you about the what is the access level, like what kind of access we can give with the OWD, you were trying to explain me something else instead of that. Of course, you know, if I tell you right now, public read, write, public read only, private. These are the stuff you already know. It is okay. When I ask you the question, as a manager, I am planning to go to a vacation, and as a company policy, they don't want us to log into the org. How can they do that? You said by freezing me. That is the correct answer. You didn't say deactivated. And when I ask you, when you freeze the manager, are you going to be able to use his license? There was another I don't know answer.
I don't think so. I think I used that phrase. I don't think so. Yeah.
I don't think so. That is correct. Like you cannot use that one because that is still active. You just freeze it. The biggest difference between freezing and deactivating is that.
Okay.
And also the second question about that, if I go to the vacation and I would like to, the work or like sales still keeps going on, how we can do that? You said view all, modify all. If we give this one, then
it was correct answer. Maybe.
No, this is not. Because view all and modify all, as you mentioned, this is usually given to the Salesforce admins. And when you give this one, you are granting all the access. But what we are trying to do is, instead of manager, who is helping the manager or who has the most experienced person in that team, you are just gonna share my access with them. So how can you do that? You can just use the sharing rules.
Role here.
And if you remember the sharing rules is about the, like, you cannot do it opposite. It should be senior to junior.
Yeah.
That was the answer. And also I asked you about the CRUD permission. You answered that one. The only thing you said, I need to go to the sharing settings for
No.
the CRUD permission.
It was on profiles. I know one.
Yes. And sharing settings, why we are using the sharing settings? For all the record level security.
Yeah.
Because you said, I need to go to the sharing settings for the object level security. No, object level security is all about the profile and permission sets. And they are all inside the profile. All right. And there was a question which is not inside that questions, delegated administration. Yesterday, we talked about it. Sanjay explained that one.
Yes.
We are using this one to give some part of the system admin access to one of the profile. But we need to pull that user to the delegated administration. We can create and we can just assign them over there. That was for the user. Apex
You asked,
Apex transaction.
Question.
Just remember from the transaction.
Yesterday.
Yeah. Just I was expecting at least an example. Just say, for example, any kind of DML operations, we can count as an Apex transaction. For example, insert. If we don't have any record like that previously, and if we are trying to insert that inside the Salesforce system, this is an insert operation, and this is one of the Apex transaction.
Actually, today I didn't review any.
Yesterday's okay. It's fine.
Yeah.
And for the flows, I could get a chance to ask only one question, and that was correct. I tried to get another, I don't know, but I couldn't for the record triggered flow. I said, are you sure? You said, you are sure. That was good. So, but you were comfortable in the beginning when you, a few times I felt like you are reading about, how can I say?
Screen from screen, no.
We all modify all things, and
I have some small notes.
yeah, because I felt some like keywords overriding.
But today I studied out loud. I can say that.
Okay.
For all questions, yeah. But for the CRM explanation and cloud computing explanation, they were long for me, so I stayed open the screen. But everybody saw that.
That's
Sorry
fine.
for about that again. Yeah.
No worries. So since this is not a real one, so there is no problem. And these kind of problems we need to fix before we go to the next interview.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Maybe. Sorry for
no worries.
any kind of.
No need to sorry for anything. Like everything is okay.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
All right. So let's continue with what we left, what we were doing. I am gonna come to here and share my screen. Just be careful which screen. All right. So we just check this one. If we undelete, is it gonna change our record ID or not? It was not, right? Okay, let's talk about the recursive trigger, which we did an example, right? We did a user case for this. Who can explain me what is the recursive trigger and give me an example like we did on the use cases? It is obvious, you can read the definition of it, but I would like to hear the example.
It was your example, two different fields, F1 and F2, actually. I remember that.
That was about the recursive workflow. We have recursive on the workflows, we have recursive on the process builder, we have recursive on the trigger. And we did an example for this. And if you need another hint, I can say it was about like update operation. Do you guys remember it?
I think
Kind of.
we can say recursion is the process of at the same time multiple tasks.
Can you give me more details?
So imagine like we have a trigger. Okay. And at the same trigger, we trying to run multiple tasks. And these tasks could be affect each other. How? Imagine like, the two places update in the record, field 1, field 2. So when you update the field 1 to something, and this something, if it's matched with the other trigger, then it's looping back to trigger 1 because updation taken to the value the previous trigger, and it's going back and forth.
That is all correct, but as I mentioned before, it is like the example I gave for the workflow. Mm-hmm. I want you guys to have one example for the recursive trigger. That's why, like, I am looking for the use case which we completed. You guys all have notes, right? About like which trigger we did and what was happening. Can you please check your like use cases and try to find the recursive one? Sure. I can say use case 26. Or 25 maybe. Let me check.
Should be 32.
Maybe. I'm just trying to remember.
32. Under the Apex triggers, some scenarios.
Okay.
How to prevent.
So, what did we do here? if I check the use case also from here, let me see. Ready to implement a scenario for how to prevent the recursion. Because when they ask you the recursion, then next thing they are gonna ask you how you can avoid from the recursion. So in here, what we are doing is we are just updating an account, right? And when we are just doing a for loop, and then we are just updating the description. And our trigger here, which is working like after the update, right? So what we are doing in the class, trigger handler class, we are just trying to do an update on the one of the field, which is description. And on the trigger, we are saying that if there is an update on the account, just make this trigger run after the update. So each and every time when we do any update on the description, it is keep going on. This is updating, and this is running the class, which is updating again. Then it is coming to when there is an update. After the update, this trigger runs again. So it is like a huge infinite loop. So how to prevent this recursive trigger? What did we do? We just created another class, right? And we said we need to create a Boolean record type, Boolean, with the static keyword, and we gave this one as a false. And if you guys remember, as a default, this one should be true on the second turn of the trigger, because it is an infinite loop, right? When the first trigger runs and updated, the second turn, it should be stopped. Otherwise, it's gonna keep going on like an infinite loop. To prevent that, we need to make the first value as a true, a default value. So we are using the prevent recursion. This was my class name here. This is another class which we created just for the preventing from the recursion. Class name dot method name first call. And this is first call, it is normally false, right? I want to make it true in the beginning. After then, I would like to run my trigger. So that's why I just put exclamation mark here, which made this statement true. When this if statement is true, this is gonna work, which is that it is making the first call to false or true here. When it is true, on the next turn, this is gonna run and it's gonna update the description. When the second time it comes, now first call is false, true, and we are putting an exclamation here. That's what makes it false. Then this is not gonna work. And recursion will be stopped. That's why I want you guys to memorize it. This one and this one. Basically, you can say, I can create it doesn't mean like they are gonna ask you to write it down, but it is possible they can ask. Because on my interview, they ask me like line by line. So you can say, I can create another class with the Boolean value with the static keyword. As a default, I can make it true. So if you are gonna make this one true, you don't need this exclamation mark here. You can do the same thing. Since Sanjay gave it here false, that's why he put an exclamation mark to make it true in the beginning. Because when it is true, this trigger will work. But after this is working, the if statement is true, you are making the first call true because you gave an exclamation mark here. On the second call, it is going to turn to false, and this is not going to run.
What happens if we don't write the second line, prevent recursion, dot first call is equals to true?
If you don't write down this one, your first call is false, right?
Yes, and then it will turn true in if.
It is going to turn to true, and this is going to work. On the second, after the update of description, there is an update on the description. So after update, this trigger wants to run again. It is checking the if statement again. And since this is true, then it is going to run again, then again, then again. So if you don't write this one down here or somewhere else, because Chilem show you guys, you can put this one inside the trigger also somewhere here. But just memorize one style and explain that one. Because in this case, if you have a class like this, and if you don't have this line here, it's going to keep running. Most important part here, your class should have a Boolean with the static keyword, and the default value should be true. It is written false here. Don't look at this one. This is not your default value. Your default value is here. Because your trigger will be working when the if statement is true. Does it make sense? So basically, if I ask you guys to explain me what did we do on the Apex handler, account trigger handler class, you can basically say handler class, and on the trigger. On the trigger, you just write down a trigger after update. On the handler class, what did you do? If you give a condition, according to that condition, you are updating the description field. When you update the description field, after your update on the description field, because of your trigger is after update, this is working. To break this, you can create another class and you can put a Boolean value with the static keyword. And as a default, I can start my trigger with true statement. And to break that one, I need to give as a value of false, then I can stop that recursion. Does it make sense? Or is it complicated something?
So when they ask what is recursive trigger, it's really similar to recursive flow, right?
Yes,
so it triggers itself.
Because the logic is same. Recursive means you are gonna go like an infinity loop.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it is a workflow, if it is a process builder, or if it is a trigger. The main logic is recursive, and recursive means it's gonna execute it again and again like an infinite loop. But we should be careful because we have some governor limits in Salesforce, right? If we have any infinite loop, then we are gonna get an error because it is gonna exceed the governor limits. That's why we need to create a class with the Boolean value, with the static keyword, and default value should be true. When we make this default value as a false, then we can break this recursion. So can everyone explain this right now? Or does it make sense?
It makes sense, but I need to study on it.
Same, Mevcut Bey. I need to review it.
Okay, I need one volunteer to explain it to me. Like,
All
just try to explain it at least. Because this question is important, really important.
Recursive tree. Yes.
So any automation tool, let me start like that. Any automation tool we able to get in a recursive, repetitive triggers or flows, any kind of automation.
Then don't go through all the automation tools. Just focus on what is recursion on the trigger.
Recursion on the trigger, imagine like that you update in a field on the account. And this updation happens, triggers update and is after part. And is after part, when you updating this field, there is another handler. And it's firing after update and going back to update again. And this loop kind of became infinite because it's always taking the trigger from the update and it's happening at the triggers update part, and then it's going back to update again. So we call in that kind of codes, we call in that kind of update codes is recursive trigger. And how we can stop it? We can create another method in the same page with the public class and a static type of a Boolean with the false condition, for example. Why I'm saying false? Because it's become true and you're deciding to make it false. And inside your code, when you're trying to update, you're creating another if condition and putting this method in it and mentioning this value will be true. It's created by false, and you update it inside the if condition, it's true, and then your trigger stop firing.
Overall, it was good. The only thing, if you try to go details, it is gonna be hard to explain it.
I agree.
Because, like, when you say you need to create a method, it should be public Boolean. No need to say about the public. The important portion, it should be Boolean and static keyword. And instead of saying that you are creating that as a false, then you are inside the trigger, you are creating an if condition. Inside the if condition, you are making it like true. Like you are just confusing while you are explaining. And if they didn't ask you to write down this thing, they are gonna confuse also, because they cannot imagine whatever you are saying right now, because you have an example, you are just talking according to that example. The most important part here, on your trigger, it is working after the update. And as a default value, if you say like false, then you are gonna confuse like me on the interview. was it false or true, or like, if they ask you at the same time, like, are you sure? Then you are gonna be like pissed off what I did on the interview, because I thought like he's like having fun with me. I said, like, why you are keep asking me the same question again and again? I said like default should be true several times, and you are keep asking me like if it is, are you sure? But sometimes they do that. This example, at least, this is my suggestion. If you have another one, you can just use that one. But you should have an example ready when you go to the interview. I should say that part.
To answer the how we prevent this side, can we just simply say like create another class and create Boolean with static keyword false? It's true at the first run. In the second run, it will stop because we did it false. Can we say something like this?
We can. Then if you say false here, then you should explain this line over there. Otherwise, it's not going to make sense to them. Because they don't know if you put an exclamation mark here on the inside the if condition or not. But you can say like this: I can create another class with the Boolean value and static keyword, and say I give a value of false for that Boolean value. So if I give it false, inside the if statement, I should make it true. When the if statement is true, then I need to switch that value from false to true. Then I can run my trigger.
What about if we do this Boolean with static keyword true?
If we make this one true, then what we need to do, our statement, if statement, we should make it true. So we can get rid of this exclamation mark, which makes this true. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, because it was true.
If it is true, then we can just make this one false. In that way, it's going to be easy to explain it, because what we are saying, I can create a class with the Boolean value. As a default, it is true, and static with the static keyword. So in the trigger, after the update, for example, we are writing down after update trigger, then we can put an if condition. Inside the if condition, we can make that default value from true to false, which means on the second turn of the trigger, since it is going to turn to false, it's not going to continue. So since Sanjay said false here, it is like against what I am saying here. But basically what he's doing here, it is the same thing. So if this one is true, you don't need the exclamation mark here. So the main purpose, your if condition should be true to run this trigger. And inside that if condition, you need to make that first call, or whatever the name of your variable, you should make it opposite, because it is a Boolean value. It can be true or false, nothing else.
Can we say for the second line, if we make the Boolean true, we are going to put false in there? Yes, right?
When we make this one true, think about like this. So what happened here, your prevent recursion that first call, it turned to true, right? Because you said it is true underneath the if condition.
With exclamation?
No. I'm just
okay.
talking about this portion.
Okay.
So this one turned to true, and you have exclamation mark here, it's gonna make it false. Then it is not gonna run. But to say true here, this one should be false. Because you are using the exclamation mark in the first default value should be true. It says default value here. Default value is here.
What is the second line? I will just, can I say we can define it as false? Yes, here. Is it correct when I say I can define it as false? Is it defining? If it's true, I'm trying to memorize it in Boolean true because it's easier.
Yeah, if you are trying to memorize it, your default value inside your like class, new class, you can say I can give a default value as a true. Inside the if condition, I can make it false. Because you are making true here. I know we are just talking about the truths and falses, so it is causing a confusion. Is Chilem here?
Yeah, I'm here, but I'm not.
Can you see the screen?
Yeah, I can see the screen.
So, is anything wrong here? Instead of like this, if we just make this one true, and if we just get rid of this exclamation mark and make this one false.
Yeah, normally when they ask you in the interview, if they ask you what is the first condition of this Boolean variable, you can say that it's true. Then you are going to turn it as a false. We did here in a opposite way, but for example, make that one true, Boolean first called as a true. It's generally they're using like that. Yeah, prevent recursion first call. So it's turning true if condition is working. When you make it false for the second time, it's not gonna work, and you prevent recursion.
Because your inside of your if statement, it is gonna turn to false on the second turn.
Yeah.
Since it is false, your trigger is inside this if condition, which means it is not gonna run. Right now, everything makes sense, whatever I say here. This is you can just memorize like this, or if you are gonna go through with the Sanjay style, you can make this one false and this one true. There's the exclamation mark here.
I think we need to process.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be this, but
it needs to be opposite. I think
it is up to you guys, but you should be able to explain very well whatever you are saying. So
if we are trying to stop the recursion, we need to how can I say that? We need to put the opposite variable here for the first call. I understand like this way, but I'm okay overall the explanation.
Okay, can you explain the way you understand, like the Sanjay did?
Yeah, when we create another class with the Boolean, we are trying to stop the opposite way the recursion with the opposite way the recursion. If this is true, the Boolean first call is true. In the middle of the line, trigger that is after. We are trying to give opposite key value, I think, to stop it.
It's
Is it
opposite.
correct or not?
It's easy to memorize, like saying opposite. But if it's
Yeah.
false in the class, and
Yeah.
then you make it true, but then you have to put the exclamation mark. So
Yeah.
that's another extra
Yes.
sentence explanation. So that,
Okay.
yeah, so that's why I
And
just want to memorize just true
But I
and
like
false without exclamation.
and also I should mention this because like while I'm explaining, they especially ask me this, like, what is the default value? What was the default value on your if statement?
So if default value true,
In that because you are putting the trigger inside the if condition, right? So this if condition should be true, otherwise this is not gonna work.
Yeah, and when you look at the words, prevent recursion, first call must be true, right? First call, because you want to call your trigger first time, but you don't want to do it recursively, right? So first call should be true, then you make it false, then you prevent recursion.
yes, for the second run, we just mention it as false to
Yeah,
stop.
if you memorize in this way, you can answer easily.
Yeah, as I said, like this is your choice, but this is the way to explain easily. This is my opinion. But you are free to like find another example and work on that and just explain that one. Anyhow, I am gonna share this one with you guys. So it is your choice. You can change it or you can just use this one. But the only thing I am saying that we need to have this example,
Information.
like any example about the recursive trigger. This can come with an like oral question, or it can come like, can you share the screen and can you show me how you can prevent the recursion?
I think this question is gonna be in technical
Sure,
interview,
of course.
and there will be, I'm sure, at least one Salesforce professional, right, Mevlüt Bey? Because I am thinking this way: if when we try to explain with these terms, trigger that is update, or trigger is that is before blah 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 blah. If he is not a Salesforce professional or Salesforce staff, it's hard to understand for people, I think. For the
Generally, in your interview, generally,
yeah,
there are two people. There will be two or more people.
at
And
least
one
two.
of them definitely technical,
Yeah.
and most probably technical manager or lead. So if you can explain anything,
Yeah.
they can understand.
Without the screen, it is not easy to explain. I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. If he is not a professional.
Think about like this. If you have this example in your mind and you already memorize it, even if they didn't ask you to share the screen and like show us, if you are comfortable, you can say it is hard to explain it like verbally, but if you want, I can share my screen and I can just type it like within 3 to 5 minutes, and it is gonna give more like understanding to them, and also you are sure what you are doing.
Yes.
So it's gonna be another plus for you on the interview.
But then they can
Oh,
ask
oh.
more questions while
Deep-
you are sharing.
Deep question.
It is okay, they can, but think about like this way. Instead of they are asking, writing a code from yourself, which you don't know what is gonna be, you can guide them and you can write a code in front of them, which you are comfortable on it. In that way, you can spend some time. You can. Nobody can say she didn't share any screen and we didn't see if she's gonna be able to write it down or not. You already did. All right.
Thank you. It is
Another
almost 8
day,
p.m.
I couldn't reach my goal, but we spent lots of time on this. I think you guys know how important it is. We are gonna continue from the next one. Thank you so much for your time and see you guys couple of minutes.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Recording stopped.